Hi.
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Okay, my friends, once again, it is indeed time to get our talk on. It's Morning Talk with me, your host, J. Stan McCauley, along with the champions of talk, this morning's talk champion, none other than Cleo Duke-Wright in the house. Good morning, Miss Cleo.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing very good. How about yourself? There you go. There you go.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. What's going on here? I'm not queued up the way I should be. There we go. That's better. It's live television. That's what makes it so much fun.
Yes, you never know what you're
You never know what's gonna happen. That's why I love live. Anything live, like live radio, live television, live stage.
Oh well, I love the stage. I love this stage. Rather be on the stage than in a movie.
Yeah. The speaking of stage, last week, fashion show.
Oh yeah.
How did you like the fashion show?
Well, I liked the fashion show. I liked being there, but what I noticed most of all was that this set of people were different. I mean, they were really different people. They were just different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like, you're going down the street and you meet people, say hi, and these were a different kind of people. Totally different kind of people. You would look at them and you would not think, you would think there was something different about them, but you might not realize what was different about them.
Mm-hmm.
So they were, I don't know how, I thought, this is how I thought, you could put them anywhere and they would get along with anybody. And if there was any controversy or something, it would be on the other person's part, because as a person, they would always accept you. That's how I kind of felt when I was there. And, they were just a bunch of open people,
That's an interesting observation. Now that you mention it, they're kind of like, now they weren't childish,
no,
or children, but they had that kind of childlike acceptance,
right?
Of how like children will come right up to you and start a conversation, or if you say hi to them, they'll say hi back to you, and very, very open. Very
like
accepting.
They would never say, I don't think that this is just because I don't know these people, but did never say the fat guy or the Puerto Rican or there goes another Indian. They didn't seem like that. Those kind of people that they separate people in little slots like we do. They were just people. Just like you read it. They were just people.
Well,
from all walks of life.
All walks of
life, and they were all different but the same. And I really enjoyed seeing that. And I noticed it. After I'd been there just for a little while, I was afraid to get up and walk. Everybody was getting a drink, and me and your father, we were sitting there. We were thirsty, and so your father tapped me and said, I said, I'm gonna get upset, and he said, well, you bring me one too. so I'm going there, but we weren't VIP, so we weren't supposed to do that. But they gave it to me anyway, and we sat down and we had wine. We had a little wine. That was enough because we hadn't eaten. so that one wine did the trick. Whoa! But as I was looking at the people and the fashion show started. And there was another thing that I guess I noticed with other fashion shows that I see on TV is that when you're walking down the runway, you become invisible. You must become invisible. So there is no facial expression. There is just straight, because all your attention must be on the clothes and no attention to my smile or my expression or anything. So all of them had the same expression when they're going down, straight face, looking, I don't know what they were looking at, but just straight, and they turn around and they're looking, I'm thinking they must be looking at a certain spot in that wall over there. And then they walk back, they do this walk, and I said, wow, because it's just like when I'm doing storytelling, I don't like wearing fancy clothes. I like wearing very plain clothes because it's the story I'm interested in, you being interested, getting into it, and not the glitter of my clothes or costume or something like that. So I like a plain, just telling the story. And if you're a good enough storyteller, this is what I'm saying, you can get the people in with the story. That's what they do with the clothes. The same exact thing they do with the clothes. And I thought that I noticed that too. I said, wow. And the little girl, she was so thin. I said, oh my goodness. She was so thin. There was one little girl there. You remember her? And she had this walk. She put out them little skinny legs. Just, boom, boom. Oh, and I'm saying, look at her. I don't think she could have been maybe 12 or 13. I don't know. Maybe she was 13. I don't know. Or 12 or something. But Mama came, and because Mama looked just like her. So they looked alike. So I realized, that her mother was grooming her and into the business, because she was very attentive to everything that she had on and everything she did. So I noticed that. And the designers, well, the designers, they're the ones that show the personality. The designers showed their personality and who they were. And of course, the last designer was the more flamboyant one.
Yeah, flamboyant could be a good word for him.
He was the more flamboyant one. Everybody, and after, I think that you worked very hard. Very, very hard. And I'm saying, I hope to God he's getting a lot of money for this.
Oh, no.
Now I know you don't.
No, that is the New York event is a labor of love.
Well, he had a lot of love because he worked very hard. And then I thought it was over. And then you had to go out and do the pictures. Everybody's taking the pictures with the designers. I didn't quite know. There was a gathering of people exchanging cards and talking. And I'm saying, is this where they talking? Is this the buyers And the designers, I didn't know. I didn't quite know what that was, but there was a lot of that.
See, I don't know. I didn't see that part. At the interviews were afterwards.
Yes. Well, this
Right.
was afterwards too. This was right around you. Where I was sitting at a table.
Okay.
It was all around you while you were doing, and people were coming in and out. You were taking the pictures and you were interviewing, but other people were not interviewing. They were just taking pictures.
Yeah. Other people, they were the photographers were taking pictures. Of course, we're doing video and stand-up interviews, talking to the different models.
Yes.
About modeling, and then the different designers about their designs.
And I love the fact that the models were different sizes. They weren't all the same size.
They were
all
real world sizes.
Yes.
All different sizes and shapes and colors.
And that was really nice to see. Very nice to see.
Well, I have fun. We do this every year. The New York Summer Fashion. New York Summer. NY. New York Summer Fashion Explosion. I was trying to figure out where the Y was coming in. Yeah. The NYSFE. New York Summer Fashion Explosion. It's always in the same place.
It's always right there?
It's not always there, but it's always in that general area.
Oh,
It's always been in that general area. One year, we were across the street from Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
The other year, we were across the street. It seems like it's always in the same space. Last year, we were we're across the street from the Empire State Building. And this year, we were where we were. But it's always a lot of fun. Yeah. It's glamorous.
It was glamorous, and I was afraid to get up because I had those stockings on, those not kind of fishnet kind of looking stockings. I haven't seen those in years. but they were selling them in the store, and I thought it went when I had on, so I got them. So I was afraid to get up. So people would be looking at me and whispering. It was not Hartford. If I was in Hartford, maybe they would have said something, but it was a different place, different people. They didn't seem to care about any of that stuff.
No, it would be very, very difficult to wear. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say it would be very difficult to wear the wrong thing, but that's not true. You could wear something that was not right. But if it's trendy, fashionable in any way, creative, then you're okay. You're going to be okay.
Yes, because people were dressed in all different kinds of ways.
All different kinds of ways.
And then after, I wasn't expecting people to be selling things outside the door, and there was something I just knew my granddaughter would love, but. Your father tapped me and said, those prices start at $500. I said, no kidding, $500. He said, oh yeah. He said, you stand right over here.
I don't know. I don't know. My dad has if you could believe it, he has a tendency to exaggerate. I don't know where he gets that from.
I don't know. So I left them alone. I left those things alone. But, they weren't something that I would ever wear. But my granddaughter would have loved them, the 17-year-old. Oh,
they were selling articles of clothing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that probably was not an exaggeration. Yeah.
And I said, I had bought a little change with me, but that's exactly what it would have been. change. It would have been just change, but I appreciate it. I really did appreciate the fashion show. I didn't understand the Native American things that they fashioned. Because I was saying, well, where's somebody going?
The more they were more like carnival.
Yeah.
I think the items that they were. I think the items were the shorts, like short pants, and more summery kind of. But the presentation was carnival, like you would be in a parade, like in the West Indian parade, or a Caribbean parade type thing.
Well, I really liked the male fashions better than the female fashions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really thought the guys really looked good.
There were no ugly people walking down that stage. Everyone's very, 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 all the pretty people.
All the pretty people, yes, and of course they held their heads, just like I know I got it going on.
Yes.
They hold their heads with such pride.
Yeah. Just projecting a lot of confidence.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. It's a fun production, which is why I like to go, because it's a lot of times you do a production, like right now I'm doing a production.
Yeah.
As I could obviously I sit here every day, and there's not a whole lot you have to do other than make sure you push the buttons the right way and make sure you roll the right tape. But in the doing something like that, you're busy. I mean, you're really busy. You move around and you.
Yes, you look so busy. You look like you were working so hard. And it was a couple of hours, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's from the minute you hit the door until you get back in the car. It's nonstop.
And it was nonstop with no breaks for you. No breaks for you at all. I just thought that was just a lot of work. And you're the only one that had it rolling, because I didn't see any other video cameras, or I didn't recognize them if I didn't see them.
Excuse me. There were some video, but no one was taking video like I was. They're more still photography with some video. There's a couple of phones up in the in the pit area, so to speak. You
were the professional. I like the way you ushered us through the hallway. Put your camera up in the air and we're coming through, and they just move over because it was the cameras coming.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Was
well,
I wrong?
that is kind of like the way, like you as I mentioned, there were a couple people taking video with their phones, and of course everyone in the crowd's shooting live, Facebook Live and stuff like that. But the phone does not make the impact that a professional camera does. But you could do the same thing with a professional camera.
I tried.
with a phone.
Video. I got the seats. I got a lot of butts in the seats and no heads.
Oh! It's hard to shoot from where you guys were sitting.
Yeah. It was. I got a few things, but now I took a lot more pictures than I had in my phone. I said, what was I doing? I thought I was taking pictures, but obviously I wasn't taking as many pictures as I thought I was taking. But it was all good. And the woman who narrated it, she had on a very pretty dress.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. And a young designer, a student designer made that dress, she was saying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a student designer. And she brought the young girl out. Did you probably...
you're there, but from my perspective, like obviously I see everything, but at the same time I'm not really paying attention to it.
Yeah.
You're more making sure that the picture is framed and that the sound is okay. It's always difficult to hear whether the sound is really, really good or not, because there's so many different you hear that there's the sound in the room, but you have to isolate what's actually being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a little bit of you always wondering, is the sound correct? And because of course you can't go back and get the sound.
That's right.
So
there was some they were sitting in the first rows, in the front rows. There was some people who were very serious about what they were doing with their phones. There was one woman that was sitting in front of us. She had to be videotaping because she followed with her phone everything, and she was like the model. She didn't have time to smile or nothing. She just kept it going, kept it moving.
Yeah, you can do a lot. You can do a lot in terms of capturing the motion with your phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the camera. It's the camera operator. Yeah. So if you have a phone, you could shoot extremely professional video with your phone. And you could take it back, you edit it, and no one would know what you captured it on. But it doesn't make a presence. And particularly if you're at an event where people are not allowed to videotape or allowed to record with their phone, you have to have. And that's not to suggest that the phone is as good or better than a professional camera. The phone has limitations, that's all. And the chief limitation of the phone is the sound. Sound is because you can't control the sound, and you can't zoom in and out, things like that with your phone.
That with the camera.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
What time did we get back here? About midnight?
We hit 12:30.
We got back here about 12:30. I thought I got home about 1:45.
That's about right. Yeah, that would be about
driving
right.
from here to about 1:45.
Yeah. 12:30. We got here at 12:30. We left here at 2:30. We left at 2:30 in the afternoon. And we got back here at 12:30. 10 hours.
Yeah. I was out for the count. I was gone. I was absolutely gone. But it was a nice, relaxing day for me.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the company. I enjoyed your father. Although he didn't agree with too much of anything anybody said. He had his own opinions.
No, my dad is extremely
and I had to laugh at you
opinionated
conversations because he didn't pay attention to anything you said. He just had his own way of saying it, no way of doing it, and he switched things around a little.
He'll switch in a heartbeat. No, he and I are, when it comes to anything philosophical or political, he is on the other side of the coin.
Every time.
Every single time. We don't politically on anything. Anything.
I particularly like the conversation. I particularly like the conversation about Trump. That was something. I particularly like the conversation about Trump and about January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
His opinion and your opinion, and it together, and then it went on, and I said, "Oh my Lord, I didn't get in that conversation." There was no conversation for me to get in at all. I do try to get in one conversation though, and that was with the women's issue.
Oh yeah, he knows more than any woman could ever know about women. And whatever their issues are, he knows better than they do. He's He knows there's nothing he doesn't know.
Oh well. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's funny. He's funny. If you like debating and having discussions about stuff, then my dad is the guy. I was joking with Cleo about now you could see where I get my pontificating from, because he sells his opinion like it's the truth, written by the finger of God himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
No room for compromise.
No, and I try to pull him to at least consider the other point of view. That's always my goal, is just consider that there might be another point of view, Dad. And that I think that's a trigger. Once you can ask him to consider another point of view, no, there's no other point of view.
That's what's wrong with the country.
Right.
That's what's wrong with the country. Your point of view is more important than my point of view, and vice versa. And so, never the twain shall meet. For compromise.
Right.
That's isn't that a formula or ingredients for
conflict?
Conflict, yeah.
Constant
conflict. Conflict, war.
Yeah.
Conflict, war.
Yeah. You're in a state of war, because people won't compromise on anything. It's either my way or the highway, and everything is conflict. Television is conflict. There's battles. You watch action adventure stories or science fiction stories or whatever. Everything is conflict. The daytime soaps, conflict.
Always
conflicts. But no sense of understanding of where other people are and respecting those differences. I think if people respected one another and the differences, things would go along just fine. But the system and the system controllers like conflict. If you're in conflict with someone, they don't have to worry about you coming after them.
If you're in conflict with someone, you don't have to worry.
Right. So if I'm by myself and there's 10 other people, they could gang up on me. So if I can exploit the differences between them, or create conflict between them, then I don't have to worry about them ever uniting against me.
Because they're too busy with each other. Oh, a sad state of affairs.
Very, very. So instead of uniting people, you divide people.
Yes.
And
I when I was driving here, I saw this young woman walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
With a face, I'm saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know if there was." And then I looked at other people's faces around her, and they all had this horrible look. Walking down, the horrible look, just all around us. It would take just a little thing, like knocking up against somebody, for an explosion.
Oh, they
boom.
They weren't looking sad. They were looking like they were right on the edge.
Yeah, they just And I said, "Oh my goodness, look at this! Let me get out of here," because it was all around me. And a young man walking across the street, eating something and throwing the paper in the street, and then they say, "Hey man, blah 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 blah." it's just like we're a time bomb. We're a time bomb. Our young people are time bombs. Boom. She had like the weight of the world.
A walking time bomb. You often you hear that expression, you know. They're a walking time bomb. Everybody's waiting to explode.
Everybody, and I'm saying to this young man, I'm saying, when you get a little intoxicated or high or whatever you're doing, and you keep talking like you're talking, he talks so much that no one can shut him up when he starts talking. Mm-hmm. And someone pulled a gun out on him. You think that stopped him from talking? I said, you're going to be laying down here in the street one day. Did not flinch. He said, well, if I'm in the street one day, after in the street one day, these people, they get shot, they got shot for a reason, blah, 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 blah. And, that might happen. Hey, I got shot here. He pulled up his shirt, showed me a couple of places that he got shot. He said, well, you just died. That's all. I mean, no, nothing. There was nothing there, Stan. He did not worry about him dying or nobody else dying. Little kids, he don't want to die. I guess he wants them to grow up as him before they, and they just come out here and they shoot. They're no good. I'll tell them blah, 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 blah. Well, Ma, you die. He died. He did something. Wow. How do you talk to that?
To some degree, you can't. We're in a very precarious place because, there are some principles that are necessary for there to be societal cohesion. And if you eliminate them, it's like the bonding agent in tape. Once it starts to disintegrate, it no longer holds, or like a rubber band, it loses, just decays. And that's what's seemingly happening with the society. Once upon a time, at least in this country, it was God and country, England, Queen and country. But if you eliminate some of those basic tenets, I was listening to radio yesterday. They were talking about they did a new poll, and people no longer feel good about the country. Yeah. They don't feel good. They don't feel good about the United States. And there are a lot of people who are very happy about that. They take joy in the fact that people don't feel good about the country. But they don't realize that the country is bigger than any one individual. The country is a union of individuals and thus a society. And there's lots of little groups that make up the society. But having said all of that, if you don't feel good about your country and your country has enemies, then you won't defend your country. And you just look at Ukraine. The Ukrainian people are willing to take up arms to fight off Russia. Now, Ukraine is a tiny little speck compared to Russia, particularly militarily. Mm-hmm. But they're willing to stand up and fight to the death to defend what they feel is their country and their people. And the United States is a really unique place because it's made up of so many different kinds of people. And so what is it that bonds these people together? And a long kind of winded way of getting around to the main point being that what now people identify with is the person in the mirror themselves. And they don't have reverence for the country. They don't have reverence for the laws. They don't have reverence for government. They don't have reverence for life. They've rejected the idea, the notion of God. And so now they kind of gravitate to an idea of some sort of spiritual whatever. But of course, anytime it gets to a spiritual whatever, well, where's the center of this whatever spirit? It's within the person. So, quote unquote, God winds up being in you or in me, which means that I become God. I'm the deity. And that's where people's heads are. They're the only one. Well, if so-and-so don't look at me right, they're going to respect me. You're not going to come up in here and disrespect me. I'll kill you. Know what I mean, that's the attitude people have.
For no definition of respect.
No, they have only ones they respect are themselves. And now you have a very volatile situation. If I'm the only one that matters, then why should I compromise? You should compromise. You should respect me. You should change everything that's around you so that it suits me. And now with a whole society becoming me, my, and I.
Oh my God, so much of it.
It's ripe for conflict. Anytime you disagree, we gonna have a conflict, and we don't transform conflict. We don't resolve conflict. Conflict is egged on. It's promoted, and it's perpetuated, and people are in this constant state of conflict, and your adrenaline is ready to fight or flight at all times. People cannot live that way. You just can't. So we have to find a way to reach out and help people. Now the whole country is not like that, but it's getting close.
It's time for me to travel
to a tipping point.
It's time for me to travel because I'm tired of looking at this. I'm really tired of looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, young people outside just doing nothing. You know, I'm really tired of looking at it. And you say the whole country is not like this.
No, the whole country isn't like this. But the way it's being reported is almost as though that's the desired outcome. Because there's always a celebration of the negative, never an accentuating of the positive. So, you know, making people aware of something is one thing. But at some point you go beyond making people aware of to glorifying the negativity.
Well, we glorify criminals all the time.
Absolutely.
We still talking about, you know, the mafia people, these people, and you know, Al Capone and all those guys. We're still talking. We made movies. The guy, I refused. I know it was a wonderful picture. Everybody tells me that was The Godfather. I refused to go.
Francis Ford Coppola's masterpiece.
I wasn't gonna watch no guy. I said I'm not gonna watch a movie that glorifies criminals that kill people. What am I gonna do that? No. So I've never seen The Godfather. Oh, that's from The Godfather. That's just before they kill somebody.
No, that's the iconic theme. Yeah, The Godfather is well, they say one of the greatest motion pictures ever made. The way the story is told, but it's very brutal, very.
No, I can't deal. I can't do that. I can't. I don't. Of course, I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't see Roots either. But what I do is I'm made up this way.
Mm-hmm.
I read a little, then I got to put it down because whatever emotion comes up, it overwhelms me. So I have to put it down. Just like I can't read about what was that Native American Broken Arrow? Was it Broken Arrow or that Native American book that I had once in the bookstore and I was reading it. I mean, I might have got to. I don't think I got to page 20. I could not go any further in that book. It was so horrible. It was so horrible. I said, I got to put this book down. So I'd put it down, and every once in a while, I may pick it up or pick up another something about the African American part in America and read a little bit, and then I'd have to put it down. But I could not sit and watch 2 hours of Roots. 2 hours of there was this movie yesterday where it was a public pool, and these young people came in to swim in the pool, and the policeman pulled them out of the pool, and one kid went and got his friends, a lot of black young men. They didn't start any, they just came and jumped, were getting in the pool, and then the police came, and he's telling his little brother to run, and he's climbing up the fence, and the police pulled him down and slammed him to the pavement, and he died. And another policeman came, I guess he was, and picked him up and told the policeman, I'm tired of you cleaning up your messes. And then they just shoved that under the rug and put that little boy, 13 years old, in the back of a police car or in the trunk or something. I don't know where they put him, but that was the end of that movie for me. I had to turn. It might have turned out well or something, but things like that affect me for a long time.
They should. There is it's like, what's the purpose of the story? The story is meant to do something, and they're very effective in causing you to feel a particular way. And I guess there's people who feel that you need to know a particular thing. But what changes from knowing? That's always one of my big questions. If you make someone aware of the fact that something horrible has happened, is happening, or is going to happen, what do you do with that information? Whether it's an atrocity done to somebody, whether it's an event that's getting ready to happen, what do you do with that? So if it's a historical event, in what way is that going to make your life better, or the lives of people around you better?
Well, that depends. When I first started reading about conflicts or seeing these conflicts on television, and I didn't know what to do with it. It just turned into total anger. Total anger to the point where I could not speak to anybody who did not look like me that next day, even though I had to go to work. Now I can process it, because I can say that, that happened, but it doesn't have to happen now, and I don't have to hate anybody. The thing is, I grew up in a mixed environment. That means I would have to hate half the people that I grew up with, and who helped me grow and helped me learn and introduce God to me and all of these things that make me me. It wasn't just my parents. It was the community that helped me become who I am. I would have to hate all of that, a lot of that. And so I know I can't hate all of that. But I could do something about not resenting and not hating. And I love the word love. I love to love. I love the word love, whatever it means, because it means so many different things to so many different people. But there's just no. My son said to me, he was reading something from China, and they were saying how violent black people are in the United States of America. I said, tell them to prove it through history. tell them to prove how violent we are through history. And my son didn't get it. He didn't listen to me. Prove through history who is violent. Show me in the history of the United States how violent black people are. The problem is we can't seem to hate, and we don't hate very well. We can't seem to hate, and I thank God for that. I thank God that we can't hate. And then the other part of that is, why don't they hate us? Why aren't they trying to kill us? Why they're going to try to do something to us? But no, because if we hated you, this country would be in perpetual war all of the time.
Right. There's no historical there's no historical history or the historical context within the country, within the United States, where black people, folks from the captivity, were anything but forgiving and malleable. There's no.
But why don't them? They're gonna get back at us somehow. I really think what perpetuates the feeling in America is the fact that I'm scared you're gonna wake up one day and really do something to me. Well, because I've done so much to you, and I know I've done it.
Well, in that sense, I think that you said something quite profound. Most people, there's a level of fear in America that is just off the chart. Everyone is really walking around scared. They shouldn't be, but they are. They're afraid they're going to get jumped. They're afraid they're going to get mugged, hit by a car, hit by lightning. They're going to have a nervous breakdown. I mean, everyone is walking around in a perpetual state of fear. So if the ruling people, the ruling class, if leadership is afraid, then it stands to reason that the people subordinate to them wind up being afraid. So what are they afraid of? What are you afraid of? Because for the most part, they probably ought not be afraid of anything. And if they weren't, things would change. You talked about earlier about the atmosphere of the individuals that were at the fashion show. You got a sense of total acceptance, total peace, total calm. No one was in there scared of anything. There was no security guards. There was no sense that something could happen to you. Everybody in there was wide open and very accepting. And that atmosphere permeated the place. No long faces, no, you're better than me, I'm better than you. People were very encouraging of one another. You did a great job. I love you. You're very complimentary of one another. Very like children in their acceptance, which is the outward manifestation of love and peace. Fear brings a lot of conflict. A lot of danger. And when people get scared, they generally try and neutralize everyone that they are afraid of. Because you could hurt me. So I better do something before you do something to me. Or I got to get you before you get me. I need to take advantage of you before you take advantage of me. That attitude in people who are in charge of stuff is very, very detrimental. They're very detrimental. And you see it. You start seeing it everywhere. And you were talking about, the glorification of criminals. Like Bonnie and Clyde, you just go on and on and on. Al Capone, El Chapo, these programs like Narco. The one thing all those people have in common is they put themselves above and before everyone and anything. Whatever it takes for me to succeed, fine. If I gotta kill you, half the city,
That's what I'll do.
that's what I'll do. Because I'm king of the hill and everyone else can go to, hell, so to speak. And it's a very, very me-centric worldview. And I really think that's the problem. Whenever me is the center of the world, the way folks treat one another changes exponentially. They're not trying to help people, they're trying to exploit and take from people.
Yes.
And that's just a recipe for disaster. And I think that's what you're seeing in the country. More and more. And people are they're intractable, intolerant, won't compromise, don't want to talk about compromise, don't want to forgive. To forgive someone is a tremendous release. Not for the person you're forgiving, but for yourself. I mean, can you imagine living your whole life angry, waking up angry, going to bed angry, dreaming angry dreams, getting up again angry? I bet nobody but not bump up against me. Not today. I'm not the one. Everyone's got that attitude. Like they can't wait to get to work for someone to say something. Oh, I know you ain't looking at me. No, I'm not the one. Not today. Everybody's ready to jump off and shoot somebody. They long for conflict and tension.
They truly, truly do. They truly is that what's happening to maybe it's not what's happening to all these young people shooting all. What are all these young people around shooting? We were talking to we have a coffee person that we meet at Burger King, Uncle Bubba. I know some people out there know Uncle Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
He's in his 90s or something. He's from Galveston. He's from Texas.
Texas.
Folk
from Texas.
He goes to Texas several times a year and during the winter. But he was talking to us about the shooting in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And that young man who was, I guess he killed himself, who just drove 150 miles to this shopping center or wherever it was that black people gathered. There was a lot of black people there and just killed people. Right. When he turned 18, he had just turned 18,
mm-hmm.
he could go buy a gun. And he's not the first. There has been several in just this year, right? That teenagers have gotten guns and just kills people. And there's gonna be more of this stuff.
I think that it's a hard conversation for people to have. Because folk, they want to, people have, it's been my observation that people project onto others all kinds of things, good and bad. And one thing people don't like to project onto other people is that there's evil in the world, that people can be and are evil. But some folk like to kill people.
That is,
and it's a horrible. Just like there's people who will do anything to help somebody.
There are people.
There are people who go out their way to harm other folks. There's people who take people's stuff,
and that's just who they are.
And that's
what you're gonna say. That's just who
you can modify that. You can modify that. I think we all have good traits and bad traits. Generally speaking, we are because of the pressures of the society around us, which is a good thing, we modify our bad traits and let people see our good trait. Like when folk go out on a date, they generally don't let the person they're dating see anything bad about themselves, right? Now, after they get married, oh, gee whiz, you never did that before we got married. Well, we married now. I ain't got to pretend. So, it's we have a tendency to throttle back those things. Oddly enough, very rarely, there's those, sometimes, but most times, it's not odd, people don't cuss around me. In my world, people don't swear. And I'm stunned many times when I hear certain people swear. I'm flabbergasted that they're using swear-like words, because I never hear them swear. But of course, to them, I'm Pastor Stan, so they don't never talk like that around me. But if I'm standing someplace, they don't know I'm there, and every other word is because I'm stunned, and I'm like, oh my God, they don't think I'm here. I need to go out, make noise, and come back in. So it's not because they don't. So in my mind, I'm projecting onto them that they don't talk like that, but they do. So I'm not suggesting that individuals are necessarily just who they are in a negative way. I'm saying that some people are mean-spirited. They don't treat people well. They have no problem taking somebody's life, like the Al Capones of the world, the El Chapos of the world, drug dealers on the corners of the streets in Hartford and wherever else they may be, have no problem killing somebody. None. They don't lose any sleep. It's just another part of the day. And I think that people don't want to accept that reality. And so they come up with all kinds of things that they hope will fix it. But to the individuals who think that way, they laugh at them. They're laughing. Like, if you're going to get a gun and kill somebody, killing people is wrong. There's laws against killing people. There's all kinds of punishment for killing people. So what kind of law are you going to get to prevent people from getting something to kill somebody with? You're not. They shouldn't even be wanting to kill nobody. Never mind going out and getting something to kill somebody. So I think we really need to restore a sense of right, wrong, expectations that people will do right, consequences for doing wrong. You don't reward wrong behavior. Mm-hmm. People see that all the time. If you work someplace and the general, this is a very derogatory term, that the person that always F's things up gets the raise because they're trying to get them out the department. So they promote them out. And everyone in the department's like, what was it? Why am I here doing the right thing all year and 2 and 3 and 4? And this guy or this gal doesn't do nothing. They're a detriment to everything we do. And they got promoted? So that they could get rid of one, to just fire him. All of us are here trying to get that job, and he gets it so that they could get rid of him out the department.
Because there's no other way to get rid of him.
Sure there is. Fire him, but no one will do what needs to be done because they don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to offend the guy who's doing wrong or the girl that's doing wrong. And they wind up promoting them, and everybody goes along with it. But those things have negative effect over time. It's like, well, why should I try?
Well, if you don't go along with it, they're going to get you. If you talk up, they're going to get you. Eventually. I've been told, Cleo, you want your job.
Straight out.
Right, straight out. And I didn't feel that I said anything wrong. And actually, the person I said it to is the person who came back to me, and I ended up working with him. Because, sometimes people come to an organization or something for information, and they want honest feedback. But you, the organization, wants to pump him up because you want something from him instead of giving him what he wants. And all he wants is the truth. And all he wants is to do this little bit right over here. So I'll tell you, hey, that's already been done. You got to think of something else you want to do because it's blah, 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 blah. Oh, you think that I had done something terribly, terribly wrong. They were going to go along with him with all this, and they knew that we worked on that and we've done that before, and at this very moment, it's being done. So why are you going to tell him this? And he's all happy to bring his students in and all of this, and it's already done. I just told him the truth. But he found something else to do. I don't know if he worked with our organization or not. I don't know what happened to him after a while. But I worked with him for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
But my organization wasn't happy with that. So if you do the right thing, if you and want to be honest, you have to know. Actually, you really do have to know when to be honest and when to just be quiet for now and see what you can do maybe later or something, instead of just jumping out with the truth without thinking about it. You just can't always do that.
Well, sometimes, as you say, it is. It can be detrimental to your employment to speak up many times and say certain things, and next thing you know, you're on the outside looking in. You were honest, but now you're unemployed.
Honest and unemployed, can't pay the mortgage, can't pay the bills. How else should I have done that? Should I have gone off with that guy? Just called him up and said, hey, that's being done, blah, 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 blah. I could have done that a different way. I didn't have to do it in front of everybody. I didn't have to do it in front of everybody.
You could have left it on the tip line.
I mean, there was probably another way of doing it. You got to think things out. Another way of doing that. I think many times of other ways that I could have done something instead of just being out there thinking that honesty was the best policy, like my mother and father taught me, and be truthful and all of that. All of that's true, but when and how do you do it? So, be careful.
Be very, very careful.
Be careful.
Be careful.
Don't become dishonest, but be careful.
Mm-hmm.
And be honest. Sometimes you just gotta call somebody aside.
That gets into another subject of boardroom politics, if you will, or workplace politics, workplace culture. There are certain things that you can and can't do. The unwritten rules of the workplace. The unwritten rules of the workplace. The things that no one knows until someone tells you. And they can jam you up.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't know. You're the new person in there, and you just didn't know.
Because there's nothing new under the sun. So that we keep doing the same things over and over and over again. maybe in slightly different ways, but they're the same things. When I came into work with Center City Churches in the late 80s, we had all these ideas. Well, all these ideas are coming up again and working toward the same things we were working toward. So how far are they going to get this time? Is anything changed? Are organizations changed? Have nonprofits changed? Are they more willing to work together? Really work together, not just this surface stuff that they do? What's going to change? Because if they haven't changed, you're just going to get somewhere for a little while, and then it's going to go back to the way it was before.
It's change lasting and real. They talk about the idea or the notion that, one, there's nothing new under the sun. Two, that history repeats itself. And then the third thing is, why don't we ever learn from our mistakes? I think people learn from their mistakes, but I think it's difficult for people to learn from other folks' mistakes. And I it's my theory that the reason why we keep as a society, as a planet, as people on the planet, that we keep doing the same thing over and over again is because there's different generations. Generations repeat things over, just like human beings do. Everyone learns how to crawl, and then they learn how to walk, and then they get married. I mean, there's certain things you do as people. I think there's certain things that happen generationally for society, and
but they progress. But they progress. Some things keep going and keep going. Like, the Wright brothers didn't invent flying. They were trying to do that in Galileo's time.
Right.
And it just went on and on and on until we flew.
Wow, I think that we evolve. There's a natural evolution. I don't mean evolution like, man evolved from an amoeba. I mean evolution like we get better at things. Technology gets better. Processes get better. Practices get perfected. You have best practices, policies, and procedures until something better comes along. And things get better and better and better and better. So you start off flying with a kite. Next thing you know, you're flying to Mars. And then one day, the ships that take people to Mars will be obsolete. And folk will laugh at the fact that they used to fly in metal tubes. Can you imagine that?
But man doesn't change.
But man
doesn't change.
There's
something you can change things, but you can't change.
No, because man is the constant. The things that man uses, the things that human beings use, the tools that they use, may change. They may not use a bow and arrow, or an axe, or a gun.
They're going to zap you with their finger one day.
There you go. Like these high-level assassination attempts that were supposedly done by the Russians of certain people. And they put some sort of, some sort of radioactive poison in their presence or in a drink or something like that. They didn't need to shoot no one. There's other ways of doing things. So the tool changes, but the headspace.
But it's the same thing.
It's the same headspace. I mean, if Cain murdered his brother Abel, the headspace, something's wrong with the headspace. So people learn how to walk. They learn how to.
I used to say as a child, what did he know about murder? What did he know about killing somebody? What they tell that story when you're little. I used to say, well, where did it come from? How did he know to do that? How did he? how did he do that when it was not it? There was never anybody murdered. How did he do that?
But see, I think the story. One thing about making people aware of stuff is you don't know what you don't know, and you may not know that what you're being told is less than the complete story or the truth. So, if one thinks that out, how did he know about killing someone? Who taught him? Well, no one taught him, which means only leaves one thing. It was there.
It was already there.
Right, and that's the truth of the matter.
It was already there.
Cain was a murderer. And so was his father, Adam. So the anomaly is when people do good, not when people do bad. And then we're always shocked when people do bad, when you shouldn't be shocked. People will always put themselves first under the right circumstances. And that's what Cain did. He put himself first because he thought his brother was going to get something he couldn't get. So he killed him. He neutralized him. He eliminated the conflict. Because ultimately, it's conflict resolution. How do we resolve the conflict? And if people are in a constant state of conflict, there's a desire and a need to resolve or eliminate it. So since I can't push you away from me, I'll neutralize you. But it's ultimately, how do you resolve the conflict? And the best way is to transform it. Can you transform the conflict to where there's a state of acceptance, ultimately a state of love, understanding, compromise, something? We move away from one another. We learn to live with one another. We do something, but we have to have some way that we move beyond the conflict, because eventually things come to a head and someone gonna get hurt or neutralized. You know, the perceived, whether it's real or perceived, is makes a little difference, but the threat that I perceive must be neutralized before it neutralizes me. So if I'm a police officer and I'm in a dark alley and there's a guy back there that everybody is saying is crazy and he looks like he has a weapon, it doesn't matter to me whether he has a gun or a toy gun. It's perceived to be a threat, so they take the shot and they kill him. Now, they could have stayed there all night. He ain't gone nowhere. But of course, that's 20/20 hindsight. That's not living in the moment. And I'm not the one under threat. So people resolve conflicts. And the conflict could simply be, you're going to get a larger slice of bacon than I am. I'm sick of you always getting a large slice of bacon. Ain't gonna happen no more.
I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to take you out of here.
Push you off the seat and take your bacon. And you bet not say nothing. I mean, it can escalate to where the person is killed. You can enslave people, lock them up. The perceived threats, we being a humane society, our perceived threats, we don't stone or kill. We put them in jail for the rest of their life in a little box. We put someone in a metal box for the rest of their life because you were humane. And that's where they live. We would never kill nobody because that's just unseemly. But we'll box you up and leave you in there to grow old and die. So, we need to learn how to love one another. And it's as though people are afraid of loving. So I think that starts with forgiveness, not with, making everybody aware of every atrocity that everyone's ever done to anybody at any time so that you can't make peace with them. All you want to do is kill, get even. But if the ultimate answer still is love.
I don't think that we really have a good definition of love. I don't think that most of us really know what that is. We say it a lot, it's overused, but we don't know what that is. To love. Although I love the word. I love how they use it in scripture, but it's not the same love we talk about when we're looking at a movie.
Well,
And they're talking about all this love, and when people in the street are talking about how they love somebody, it's not that. It's not that.
so are we talking about a physical attraction? Are
That's
we talking,
what it should be called.
That's
A physical attraction.
Right.
That's what it should actually be called.
so.
Most of the time.
So if the references to real love are eliminated from the scene,
Yeah.
so if God is love and we remove God, then that's a type of love people won't know.
That's right.
It's no different than if somebody grows up in a household that has no affection. People know they know the end result of that. All right. Or if you grow up in an abusive household and never knew love, so to speak, from mom, dad, brothers, sisters, whatever the case is, and it has a detrimental effect. I think most people can wrap their heads around that idea or that notion. So people should be able to wrap their heads around the idea of the notion that if you were removed from the love of God, then you wouldn't know that kind of love. Therefore, you couldn't demonstrate that kind of love. Mm-hmm. So you hear people say, well, hurt people hurt people. That's true. But people who love people. But you can't love with a godly love if you remove God out of people's hearts, out of their minds, out of their existence, out of the society. How can the society demonstrate godly love if they're not exposed to it and godly love becomes criminalized? Because that kind of love is self-sacrificing. Mm-hmm. See, real love sacrifices. And so, now we as a people, we're some sacrificing folk. Because love is really, we're a very loving and forgiving people. We are.
We really are.
Historically, that is.
We really are. That's
the historical fact. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. That's not debatable.
It's not. Some people will debate that, but you're absolutely
They can
right.
debate it all they want. The facts hit the historical context demonstrates that fact.
That's why I was telling my son, we're back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Prove it historically.
Not that we're better than anybody, but
We are a kind of people.
We're
We are
just
who we are.
kind people.
And we are not violent. Basically, we are not violent people. If we were, I think we would be, and we don't really hate. We turn that on ourselves. We would be in perpetual war, perpetual riots. Yeah. We'd be like the Ukraine, a little country, a little bunch of people fighting to the death.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not there, and we are not that. And we still love. And I think that's unbelievable. Wonderful, unbelievable. We have got to get to know who we are. We want to be something that we're really not. We want to be something we're really not, and we need to stop trying to be that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to be who you are.
And we're not going to succeed in being somebody else. We have to be who we are, and I wish we could see how beautiful we are, but we have not found the beauty in us yet. They're still looking at somebody else and wanting to be them. I really hate that.
Well, there are many people who, assimilation and being like anyone other than who you are is to rob society of the greatness you bring. To the degree that self matters. Don't think of, I tried to articulate the idea, the notion, or preach that everyone is a gift. So you matter because of what you bring to the world. It's not that you matter so that the world owes you everything because you matter. You're a gift to the world is why you matter. You walking down the street with the cure for cancer, you matter. But so everyone is dynamic and is necessary. Everybody is necessary. Everyone is necessary, because everything affects everything. And believe it or not, you need some people who are not going to be benevolent and all forgiving and all loving, like children need parents. Because if children don't have parents, they're going to get in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Because they're these docile little creatures running around thinking everything is all hunky-dory, and they will get killed.
They will get
if someone is not protecting them. So the world, the society, if we all work together for the common good of the whole, there are people who are protectors. The warriors. You need the warriors to protect the village.
Joseph Campbell, in his book, I forgot what the first book that I read about Joseph Campbell, but the picture that I got was that the village, the warriors were outside. As the village moved, the warriors were on the outside, and the village was on the inside, the women and the children, and the warriors protected them. But then he goes on to say, when the warriors don't have anything to protect, or feel they don't have anything to protect, is a problem.
Then they start warring one another.
There's a problem. When you take their identity away, there's a problem. Yep.
Yeah. And, the warrior has no problem taking somebody's life. Otherwise, they wouldn't be a warrior.
Right.
Everyone brings something to the table. I had a friend of mine as a police officer. And I was telling him about situation. The drug dealers up on my corner, they weren't bothering me, but I wasn't having it. They're not coming down here selling drugs from my house. So, I went out and I told them, look, you can't be out front here selling drugs. You got to go up in the middle of the street. That's not a good look. He said, all right, I respect that. And he went on up the street. So when I was telling my friend of mine, that the police officer, I won't mention his name because people would know his name. It's not Jason Fody. I just had to say that because people think that. So, he said, now look, Stan, don't go up the street, start talking about people about this, that, and third. That's why we're here. If you want someone to go up there, I'll go up and talk to them. So, but in my mind, it's like, well, what makes you different to go up and talk to him, but I shouldn't go up and talk to him? And there is a difference. Some of these people, he says, some of these people out here are very dangerous. Very dangerous. And
you don't know which ones.
You need to understand that. You just can't go up and start having a conversation talking to them. Because they're not going to understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let someone else take care of that. If you have a problem, call us. We don't mind going up there. But don't you go up there and do that. They're different people who do different things, and we all work together for the common good. We can't be against everybody. This idea of being against something instead of for something is ultimately very detrimental to the society.
And there's so many people around where I live that and you have to walk. Sometimes you have to walk, well, all the time. You have to walk through them to get to your car, to go across the street to the store, sometimes you just get tired of it. But nobody ever bothered me. I mean, they don't bother me. They're very cordial.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess I'm a common sight. I don't know. But sometimes I just don't want to go out there in the crowd and pass them and see the young women and young men. Sometimes I just don't want to see it. So I have to stay in the house.
Last week we had a special guest. We had a couple special guests last week. We had I'm trying to think of. I know we had Wanda.
But
I'm trying to. There was someone else besides Wanda.
Yes, we had a
we had like three guests.
Oh, we had the councilman.
John Gale,
and Wanda.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That is it. Yeah. Domingo. That was the day, Sunday. Right. So they turned Farmington Avenue.
Oh, was that? I was wondering when that was.
That was last Sunday.
The Sunday that just passed.
Just passed.
Oh, and I was talking about it to people, but I couldn't remember when it was.
Yeah, it was last Sunday.
But Manchester had some kind of special day too. East Hartford had a special day.
They did, yes.
So I thought it was like the same kind of thing. I said, well, when is ours? But I knew it was soon. I knew it was like this week. I knew all this week there was something, but I couldn't remember everything that was happening.
Tomorrow there's the Bonanza.
Where's that?
Hartford First Night is associated with it.
Bonanza?
Yeah, it's in Bushnell Park. It's going to be a really nice celebration. It's there's music in the park now, but tomorrow's supposed to rain. But Saturday and Sunday, and then there's basketball. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the city.
Down.
Then Bushnell Park. That starts tomorrow.
Oh.
Of course, this is the 4th of July weekend.
Right.
So, I don't know if they're going to have fireworks. I haven't even heard. Is it this weekend or next week? I haven't heard anything about fireworks.
I haven't heard anything about fireworks.
Which is a shame. I should know these things. It's been very busy. And I can't say that someone didn't say, because I got some stuff. I just haven't had a chance to really dive into it.
Something happened in East Hartford has already happened on the waterfront. Because someone said Riverside Park, but Riverside Park is not on both sides. Waterfront's on both sides, right? Not
Riverside Park, East Hartford is on the east.
Oh, there is.
East Hartford has a Riverside Park.
Oh, because that's what they said. I didn't know that. I thought it was called the river waterfront. It was good because I've walked over to from the park. I have walked over to East Hartford, but I didn't know it was called Riverside. That's also,
Well, I think Riverside Park in East Hartford is down a little ways from. If you leave our side and walk over the bridge, you come around that way. Oh, you have to go down the steps.
Yeah.
And go toward the boat launch. I think that's technically Riverside Park.
Okay.
I hope it is, 'cause I don't want to be a disseminator of ignorance.
All right.
I'm serious.
I just thought it was just on one side. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up this. Let's see here. I'll look this up. And yeah. Hartford Bonanza. There we go. Yeah, Hartford First Night. Hartford Bonanza, July the 3rd. Let's increase the size. There we go.
Because this is the
Kaleidoscope Dance Performance, Hot 93.7. Nate Reeves, great. He's phenomenal. 4:30 p.m. Now, I don't know what they're going to do if it rains. There's supposed to be thunderstorms tomorrow, from what I understand. Dwayne Keith. If this is who I think it is, these guys are really good. I believe they were doing the jazz at Hartford First Night. They were really, really good. Oh, here it is. Yep, fireworks. 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, there's going to be fireworks.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's the place to be on the 3rd.
Yeah, so tomorrow from 4 o'clock all the way down, this is Hartford Bonanza. Our 3rd of July looks like magic. We have a lot in store for you this weekend. Can't wait to see everyone. Hartford Bonanza. Good people over Hartford First Night. Leslie Hammond asks, where is this? Details are important if you want people to come.
She just wrote that?
Well, she wrote that 10 hours ago.
Oh.
Well, let me double check the time on that. 10 hours ago. She got an instant reply from Hartford First Night. The main stage is on Trinity Street under the Soldiers Arch Memorial. All right, same place that they had the big fireworks celebration for First Night in the Arch. So if you go to Bushnell Park, you can't miss it. The is right there in the middle of the park, Trinity Street. Hartford Bonanza. And this is it from last year. Oh, let's change our source of audio so we can so you all can hear this. Yeah, let's cue that back up.
Oh, the kids are going to have things for the kids, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, that's so should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
I saw Andy Hart. There he is. Andy Hart. See him?
Which one is Andy?
Right here.
Oh, yeah, I see him.
Hartford's selfless photographer. He's everywhere. He's everywhere always. If there's something going on in Hartford, Andy's down there taking pictures of it. Yeah. Hartford First Night, Independence Day celebration. A throwback to this is from last year. I'm looking forward to going, So we're gonna collectively hope and hold back the rain. But this is tomorrow, July the 3rd, down in Bushnell Park. I see nothing here about a rain date. So should be lots of fun. And that's this weekend. Now, Hoop It Up is on the 2nd and the 3rd. Oh, wait a minute. Back this up, Stanley. July the 3rd is what? July the 3rd is Sunday.
Yes.
July the 3rd is Sunday. What's today? Today is Friday.
The 1st.
Today's the 1st. It's Friday. Tomorrow's the 2nd. So this is going to be, that's fabulous. So this is Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. We're locked in for this. All right. I hope to see you all down there on Sunday, 'cause I'm going to be there. I'm going to take my camera down there, do interviews and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. It's July the 3rd. July the 3rd is Sunday. Let's see my little calendar right there. July the 3rd is Sunday. And so that's great. That's fabulous. Sunday's supposed to be wonderful weather. And there we go.
Anything on the 4th?
The 4th is Monday. I think people are just off on Monday. Saturday and Sunday on Allen Street is a Hoop It Up 3x3, right? Hoop It Up is back as part of Hartford Bonanza. And Hoop Wave Takeover. That's on Allen Street. So Hartford Bonanza, July the 2nd and the 3rd. The activities in the park are on the 3rd under the Soldier's Arch. So don't miss it. It'll be lots of fun and stuff like that. All right, so that's what's happening here in Hartford on Sunday. Great musical performances, going down, meet up with family and friends. And
so no one has to be bored this Sunday. There's plenty to do in Hartford.
Plenty to do in Hartford.
Yes. So come out and meet people.
Come out and meet people Sunday. And then our other guest last week was Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda Price.
Wanda Price. And she had a book signing.
I couldn't get there. I had a doctor's appointment. I could not get to that. How was it?
It was really good. In fact, it was really nice. And I knew you couldn't make it, so I have it queued up.
Oh.
So we'll go out with the W4 News coverage of Wanda.
Okay.
All right. So our time together's come to an end. Thank you, Cleo. A lot of fun today.
Yes. Well, it was nice being here. It's always relaxing.
Good. That's good. I like for her to leave here feeling better than when she came.
Oh, I definitely do today. I definitely do today.
Good. All right. Sometimes she gets out. She go out to the front. She's like, Stan, I don't know. It was a rough show today. It's kind of heavy. So we want to keep it light. You know, I don't want to be a cosmic killjoy. You know, but this here, Wanda, you're gonna enjoy this. So we'll go out with Wanda, and you all out there have a really fabulous rest of your day. All right, and we'll see you here next time.
Elaine?
Yes, Felder. So what led you to write this book?
You know what? My taste. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the hurt. And I decided to write things down. And I remembered, like, you know, you got to remember, and you can't let people off the hook, you know, because a lot of times people didn't think that this book was going to ever surface. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, I've received a lot of healing in the midst of it because now I have exposed it. I have exposed it prior.
Right.
You know what I mean? So nobody can like use anything against me.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So you felt if you wouldn't have ever written this book, you would not been able to move forward in life?
Not necessarily. It's just identifying who I am as a woman, as a person, as a mother, a convicted felon. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So,
Interesting. That's great.
We as women are powerful. You know.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be 62, and it's like all my life, it's like I didn't do anything. I didn't follow my dreams. I got to get this book out because guess what? Everybody that hurt me is in this book. Most of them. You know what I'm saying? So the least I can do is write a book and hope that it gets to be successful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It will be.
My name's J.C. McCauley.
I'm Naisha McCauley, and you're watching AccessTV.org.
Stosh, just like this Stosh. Okay.
Today, we have somebody in the midst of us who grew up in the city of Hartford. She's a hometown girl. She never left. A lot of people know her as Wanda Wilson, Wanda Nurse, but the bottom line, she's a Wanda Price. Okay? So I introduce to you Wanda Price.
Wow. I just thank everyone for coming out. I am totally surprised. I needed you guys to be here to support me. I was nervous at first, and it's like, this is a long time waiting for me, and I'm just grateful that I was able to share my stories. You know, the stories, you know, oh my God, my husband's looking at me. All right, the stories are like parts of my life. I had to share it. And by me sharing my stories, I was hoping, and I know that it would touch home with a lot of people, whether it be men or women, but mainly women, because we are as sick as our secrets. You know, everything and anything that I've written in my book, I have no shame. I've been through the hoops and everything as far as being exposed and with the media writing about me. My past is in my book. You know, I talk about relationships, marriage, my children, relatives, sexual abuse, the feds, informants, you know, and that's where a lot of my hurt came from. So, you know, I'm just hoping that this book will become a big success for me, because I waited until all these years, and now I'm almost 62 years old, and it's like, what do I have to show for anything that I've done in life other than being a bad girl? You know, and I don't want to cry, and I don't want to bring any tears, but this book is something that I wrote, and I'm just grateful that God has put it in me to do it, you know, because He's in it. He's in all of it. And I don't know what else to say, guys.
I have a question for you.
Oh my God. He's a rough one.
And how do you think that this book is going to be beneficial to a lot of young women as well as women, period? We know the book is written for everybody, male and female, but what especially about this book that you think going to do for females?
Well, hopefully it'll allow the women, young females, older females, to like look at my stories and know that they're real and they did happen, and it's okay to talk and to share and to let someone know what someone did, because you don't want to walk around and carry someone else's baggage on your shoulder. You know what I mean? All my life, like I always had the media like talking about me, writing about me, and while I'm in court. I invited Mr. Woods like to my event, because if you're gonna tell a story, tell it and tell it good. Like tell my story. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope that this book like really opened the doors for those who needs healing, who would like decide to like, you know what, if you got something to tell somebody about something someone did, do it. If she can do it, I can do it. Like that's how you look at it. If I can do it, you can do it. I just had to persevere. A lot of times this book was just late. And I did it, yes. I did it.